Hello there, and welcome to OMSI 2, Chicago Adventure. As some of you may know if you've been stalking my Facebook or Twitter, I'm currently in Windy City. So I thought, why not let's give it a try running the buses in this wonderful city. Here we have the Chicago City Bus. I believe it's the 60-foot diesel model. I'll be showing you one of the routes today and probably conduct the rest of the routes on a different video. We'll go through setup and then we will be off on our way. So inside here is the bus itself. Fairly standard. You have a lot of functioning switches. So let's first get some lights on to make this thing easier to see. So let's switch that to day run. Okay, now the electrics are on and we can see everything has lit up. Let me get some driver's lights on and switch the interior lights to normal. Okay, it's September 26, 2010, 4:57 p.m. I'm going to advance time a bit to the morning so we get to do the morning bus run. And I believe that is 5:05, which then makes this, yes, that is a lot darker and it makes sense. Great. So on the left panel, we see there are our climate controls. So I'm going to set that to heat since it's fall. Let's see. No, I don't want to reduce my frames. So let's put that on heat. We probably should heat up the bus a bit. So let's turn on preheat. And we already set up the lights. Speakers should be set on both as we want the annunciator to be both inside the bus and outside so people know where this is going. And let's check the dashboard. So we notice there's this little yellow sticky note here. Interestingly, as a safety feature, these buses are all equipped with automated annunciators in which to activate you need to enter an ID code. And also a PIN. Without entering this, you can't change the transmission of the vehicle. Okay, now it says no run. That's good because we haven't selected anything yet. Let's start the motor. Alright. While we let that warm up, let's finish the rest of the pre-start. So here we have the standard door handle. Front opens front doors, and this opens front and back. This is closed. Okay, that looks good. Heater set to heat. Let me just make sure fare card thing is working. Okay, yes, that works. Alright. This bus has functional emergency exits, which are great for ventilation in the summertime, but not as effective in the winter. So let's see if there's any runs available. 124 has nothing, 130 has nothing. Okay, let's advance time by 30 minutes then. Up this early. 5:57. That's the latest we're getting. No buses either. Okay. Then perhaps we'll do 6:20. Nothing here either. 130. Okay. Okay, now we see there's some runs going on. So let's do 130. 130 hasn't started yet. I was hoping to do 130 today. Let's see. This a little later. 50, 51. Oops. 7, 51. Okay. Let's see what's available for us. Oops. Let's first select 130. Still nothing. Alright, let's try 820. Anything here? Yes, there is one run. So we leave the garage at 9:09 and arrive at the train station at 9:29. Alright, looks good. So, in the meantime, let's take a quick look at the bus while we wait for our time to depart. Make sure all the lights are on full to make it a lot easier to see. Okay, so we have the standard safety dividing screen here. Minimize that. Good to protect yourself and your passengers. If we open this up, you see that this has the standard emergency exits function. Fairly responsive too. We have a functioning window. It has that nice brush sound. Definitely a plus. We find there are two sun visors on the top. Great for the afternoon runs when the sun gets in your eyes. Let's take a look in the back, shall we? So here we see the bus has only one front door and one rear door for the exit. Oops. One rear door for the exit. We have the standard stop button function. And we also have standard security cameras and safety equipment on board. Back also has a functional emergency exit, so that looks good. The rear emergency exit also works for ventilation, though it's not very useful at this time. Try to get back to the rear. There's also this red emergency window openers, the satisfying glass clicking sound. I think we may have to get Minecraft. More stop buttons near the front. And we also have digital signage as well. Back in the driver's cab, we now see that they have the standard stickers of protection and warnings. And similar to the Chicago City buses, we also notice they have the subtitles in different languages. So no eating, littering, or anything of that sorts. That looks good. You see there's a stop request for me playing around with the buttons, so I'll let that go. Okay, let's get dismissed. Something funny about this bus is you have the bike rack out in front. Let me show that. And while the passengers don't always tell you that they have a bicycle, sometimes when a passenger board, you may notice there's a bike that all of a sudden appears on the front of your bus. Inside the driver's pit, we notice that we have a full set of kneeling functions. So we can kneel this. We also have this wheelchair ramp, which is fully functional. While you don't get wheelchair passengers in OMSI, it's still a nice thing to play around with if you're early or you have time. Oops, let me put that back in. A clever feature. So if you're doing OMSI with the fares enabled, they always give you exact change. So all you have to do is just press fare override and that will issue them a ticket. No need for any change counting or change giving. Good for those who aren't exactly the best in math. Okay, let's put this back up. I am going to fast forward time. Oh, before I forget, there is also this interesting feature on the city buses, in which after 10 minutes of inactivity, the bus will actually shut off itself to save gas and be better for the environment overall. While you can override it with the stop engine override, clicking the switch increases it by 1 minute. You can only do it so many times before it locks you out of it, and you need a service technician to come out and repair the bus for you. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Okay, let's close up. Oops. Okay. Let's close the safety door. Back our steering wheel. We now notice there is a route number down here. So that's 071. Oops. So let's put in 1. 071. Okay. We are en route and we have 42 minutes to wait. I'm going to probably advance the time to about 3 minutes before departure. I'll see you there. Okay, it's now 9 a.m. We have 8 minutes till departure. Make that 7. So let me get the bus in gear. If it will let me. Press the brake. There. And turn off the parking brake. Okay, it's now 9:01. Let me put that ahead to 9:07. 9:07, we have 1 minute and we are off. So, let's turn off the aux heater high heat, which is preheater, and switch this to normal. Okay, looks good. Okay, good to departure. Actually about 15 minutes away from downtown, providing there's no traffic. So I may just get us on the highway and I'll fast forward till we're about in the downtown district, and then I'll resume the recording from there. Okay, let's move out. Any cars? Nope. So in the nighttime, you actually come back through this gate on the right, not through the front of the garage, and you park at the back. Since I'm new to the city, I better have guidance signs. Okay, right, make that buses is they don't usually cancel the indicators for you, so you tend to have to remember to cancel them yourselves. Not like your cars, which they automatically cancel as well. This bus is outfitted with an automatic retarder, so you actually can't cruise down at the same speed. Instead, you need to feather the gas pedal to maintain the speed you want. Okay, let's get this lane. You notice how the cab on the right just made a right turn on red? In America and some other countries, you are allowed to make turns on red, but you have to yield to the pedestrians and that. Let's get here. Another red light. Okay. You can notice the station brake is on, and this bus does automatically deploy the station brake, providing that, well, it's in a safe condition and such much. You don't need to press a separate key, which is great, so opening the doors and that will be a lot quicker. Okay, let's get on the highway on-ramp. Approaching Chicago downtown region. Follow the signs for Union Station, as that is our starting stop. frame rates will take a hit as Chicago is a rather big city, and therefore there's a lot of buildings for this to load. Since I'm doing this on my portable computer, it's not really the best of the graphics, but I think it should cope with it. Okay, no one coming. See some of the buildings are popping up as I'm driving closer. I suppose it's a way of the system cheating itself and allowing it to load the buildings without too much frame rate loss. Fairly quiet here in Chicago. Even with the recommended settings, I actually played around with it a bit, since the amount of cars they put in is a bit too low for my taste of Chicago. I mean, it's not really Chicago without a lot of pedestrians and a lot of cars. But even so, there's only limits in which I can do before my PC decides to crash on me. Okay, let's make a left turn here for Union Station. Chicago has plenty of bus lanes, which are great, especially in rush hour, as the traffic tends to be pretty bad. Let's see. Union Station, yes. Okay, let's move forward. Focus and start. Make sure this is the right start. Okay, that is 124 Union Station. Let me try to find cars. This is something also I have to recommend, is that you turn off the collisions with other vehicles, as the AI isn't too smart, and sometimes they will plow on right through you even if you have properly indicated and are following all of the rules of the road. Especially in the downtown region, sometimes they randomly crash into each other, causing a massive traffic jam, which you cannot go through, and therefore resulting in you being rather late and have a bad record. Though I will still try to play it as if I did have the collisions enabled. It's just something good to remember by. How many minutes do you have to get there? Ogilvy Station at 9:30. That will be in 6.6 minutes. Plenty of time to find where we start. So right now I'm just following the signs for my route 130. Hopefully, it should bring me to the starting point. So, here's the station. Right. Okay. I think I see the bus stop. Since my mirrors aren't working, I'll have to do this. Okay. That is 130 Union Station. Yep. I think this is the right stop. Let me keep going just to make sure. So from here we can tell Chicago is pretty well detailed. Our buses are definitely no exception to that. Anything interesting I can see off the top of the bat? Don't want to miss that green light either. Okay, short left. There should be one more left turn ahead. That's a stop ahead. Let's see if that's good back. Okay, there it is. We are good on arrivals. And also good on the departures. Pretty good. Okay, how long do we have to our next departure? Last stop. Okay, I'm going to advance time again and bring that closer to our start time. 1 minute. Okay, let's open the doors. And now we are en route for Museum Campus. Great. Welcome. Hi. Hello. Wow, lots of people here today. Bunch of quiet people, it seems. Did he just go without paying a fare? Okay, let's get rolling. Museum Campus. Going on to the next stop?
Clinton and Madison.
Yes, they're on.
Route 130.
Right.
Museum Campus. Museum
I suppose the number of people walking by without paying fares today is rather low. Let's see what's going on behind me. Route 130. Museum Campus.
museum campus.
Quiet people on board today, if you ask my opinion. Not as lively as I would expect. There are already a lot of people want to get off. Whether they need to, or simply
That's quickly. Transfer to Union Station local and mainline trains.
You getting on board? Oh, yeah, my legs come off.
Route 130. Museum campus.
No? Okay.
To museum campus.
And we pull out from here.
Jackson and Riverside.
How are we doing for time today?
As a courtesy to
by
board
3
officers,
minutes.
please move to the rear.
Okay, so maybe next stop we have to take a quick break. Don't know. Come on. You can see on the pedestrian crossings they actually have timers counting down. Great to know how many minutes you have, or how many seconds before you have to get moving. Okay, this is not where it stops. Okay, there are. Do they want my bus is the big question. Anyone here for
Route
this?
130. Museum campus.
No?
To museum campus.
The passengers on a normal day are rather lively in terms of insults.
Franklin.
Such much. Especially if you cross over a curb. That seems to be the thing that annoys them the most. And you get a lot of creative insults flying at you. Some rather passive and some rather aggressive. In the Chicago map, they've actually mapped out many of the local sightseeing and tourist attraction places. Like on the left, you can see Willis Tower has been marked for us with a white eye. And in terms of remodeling, it's actually pretty good. Fairly accurate to local standards. Right, let's get back to the driver's cab. One person. You don't need to run here. I'll meet you. There you go.
Route 130. Museum campus.
Thank you.
To museum campus.
And let's push onwards. Time check. We are early by 2 minutes. That's fine. Still within boundaries. Better to be early than to be late in the city.
Financial place. Transfer to trains.
Let's see. Anyone on board? Lots of people. Okay. Let them all on board. I'm gonna go check if there's any
Museum
audio
campus. To museum campus.
sounds. Doppler, reverb. Apparently the passengers don't get a lot of talk. Did I just crash the game? No, I did for a moment. AI vehicle sounds, scenery sounds. That's private light. Advanced. Hi, hello. Let's move onwards. This is what I meant by the AI traffic not being exactly the smartest. And you notice how they tend to block that whole intersection as a result. Sometimes even colliding into each other. Hey, are you going to move? Yes, you are. Good, good. Is this guy just parking there? Oh my god, that's... Is that even a legal parking spot? Did he crash into something? Taxi cabs. What can he say? Where am I turning to? Okay, let's switch. So usually you can make right turns on red without providing that there is a no turn on red sign. But in that case, there was a taxi cab walking in. Oh, I can't really make a turn through them. Just one way right. On the left, we have the federal prison. Since the Chicago City buses are a bit wider, a good way to remember how to not go on the curb is if you use the middle of the two windshields right there as a guiding force. Okay, anyone on? I just need to wait for this thing to come down a few minutes. So just remember the middle bar where the two windshields connect together. Just keep your curb between them and you should be fine. You won't jump the curb. Okay, we gotta make the left turn here. This will be wide.
Congress, Harris.
Left, we have the library. This one's being on Congress. So we have to yield to pedestrians with our red turns. Right turns all red. Is that someone dancing? Oh my god, sick moves. Okay. Let's see. Campus. State Farmer. Congress. State Harrison. Looks like Harvard in my point of view.
Route 130. UZ campus. To museum campus.
And let's push onwards. Providing there's no cars in the right lane, you usually can use as a dedicated bus lane. But when you park there, then you can't. Despite me even cranking up the settings, the streets still look pretty desolate compared to normal Chicago. No matter what time of day, you'll probably see at least a few people out on the streets. It's one of those cities that never seem to sleep. Our bus has that nice advertisements, I suppose.
9th Street.
Red light here. Let's see if we can inch closer. No. Just as I put on the brakes. Okay, we do have 2 people who want to get on board.
Route 130.
Hi.
Museum campus. To
Nothing
museum
affairs?
campus.
I suppose this is a free bus. Who knew? Okay, let's move that out.
The 11th Street.
Going off from here? Yes, there is.
Route 130. Museum.
One person. We see there is the nice TV adverts. Very common. It's nice the way they put in their logos to make them seem similar to Chicago's actual bus logos, but not being the exact same to avoid that popular issue. I would like to you see there are functional subways as the one just went by on the top. I think we can probably turn down the heat. Downtown Navy Pier. So we have to make a wide left. These buttons have a satisfying click if you like pressing them. Although I really haven't seen what do they do. Okay, that's our left turn signal. Why is my bus? Okay, let's hurry. This nice lots of people. Okay.
Route 130.
Hi.
Museum campus.
Thank you.
To museum campus.
Hi. Don't pay a fare. Thank you. These people are getting more and more cheeky. Not even caring if I'm standing there monitoring whether we pay fares or not. Gotta give them credit for that. There's BP or some stuff like that.
Michigan, Indiana.
That's what all the
The most economical way to see all that Chicago has to offer is on CCTY. CCTY 3-day passes offer 3 days of unlimited riding for one low price. More about it on ChicagoTraffic.com or call 888-4CCTY for sales passes. To CCTY campus.
I just love their advertising. It's true, you get these kind of advertisings when you're on the buses and trains in Chicago. Although the way they make it, you can actually believe it's real. Yet the address and the logos, or even the name, isn't the exact same. I believe they're called the Chicago Transit Authority, CTA. Here they call it CTY. Their logo is similar, but not exactly the same. Clever ways of avoiding copyright. Although if you notice in downtown, some of the scenery they use does actually contain copyright, and I don't know if they actually have the rights to use their images there. Okay, what's going on here? Why is my bus stuck? We need to make a crossing to the right. like everyone's off. Let's move onwards. So, leave there's a bunch of
Shed Aquarium.
Where did the stop signs go? Oh well. No, here there's a stop sign. There should have been a stop sign. I think they're getting popular after the movie Finding Dory has come out. Okay, let's get in. This is supposed to be a stop sign location. No one crossing. Let's go onwards. Everybody
Route 130. Museum campus. To museum campus.
The door is closed. And I believe the next stop is our last stop, Adler's Planetarium. Actually, it's not. Right. Okay, that is what I expected.
Route 130. Museum campus. To museum campus.
Okay, what's going on? Why is my bus stuck? Never mind. And we are back again.
Planetarium.
So this is a terminal stop. All off. Okay, we were a bit too early too many times today. Fair enough. I suppose it's better than being late. So, there you have it. Route 130 to Museum Campus. I hope you enjoyed the ride, and I look forward to seeing you next time on OMSI 2 Chicago Adventure.